Power Rangers Magnificent Megaforce, Chapter 5, An Englishman and an English Key, Part 1.
This podcast is a production of the Three Ranger Bros Studios, in association with Zeo to Hero, the podcast.
Albert and Ozzy were sat in the temple base. Albert was tinkering with a new device for Ozzy, when suddenly the computer screen started flashing. "Ozzy, can you check that for me?" Albert said as he twisted the screwdriver. "Sure," Ozzy said with a shrug. Then he walked up to the monitor and revealed two separate locations, both flashing rapidly. Albert, you might want to see this," Ozzy called over his shoulder. Albert placed his stuff down and walked over to Ozzy and looked at the monitor as well. "That's morphing grid energy," Albert explained. "So, we get new keys?" Ozzy said with a grin. "That's a possibility, but there's two. We don't have time to tackle both now. We might lose the other one," Albert muttered. "We could split up," Ozzy suggested. "Hell no," Albert barked back.
I agree, it's too dangerous.
Jason chimed in, becoming visible, standing next to Albert. "But this one's smaller, on a smaller island. I can tackle that. You deal with the more big, hectic place," Ozzy said. Albert sighed and rubbed his eyes. "If this is two separate keys, activating at the same time, then this could be a huge help. But again, that is pissing off two generals," Albert muttered.
Actually, that was the United Kingdom. The whole place is a resort and entertainment and education site. It's for tourists. There isn't a general, just a security system,"
Jason explained. "See, I can handle that. I have two keys now," Ozzy sneered. "Okay, fine. You head to this United Kingdom place, but stay low. Only morph when you need to. Find out what this is, whether it's a key or not. If you can get the key, if it is a key, then get it. If not, and it's too difficult, leave it, come back, and we'll regroup and try again another day," Albert told him. "Sure, why not?" Ozzy nodded. Albert loaded the coordinates into his portal gun and shot it and opening a portal. "I will lead the second march to the second destination, which apparently is in the desert. I'll call you if I find anything," Albert said, grabbing the small device that he's been working on beforehand and handed it to Ozzy. "Okay, thanks. I'll get my keys," Ozzy said. "Don't need to, just press the range key on the screen," he told Ozzy. Okay, what?" Ozzy looked confused, looking down at the watch in his hand. "Okay, I'll see you in a few hours," Ozzy said with a nod. "Yeah, be careful, okay?" Albert replied. "You too, dude," Ozzy smiled. Then he strapped the watch-like device on his wrist and walked through the portal. He walked into a green hill area. He was surrounded by green grass. Some places were made into still reenactments of past tense events. It was like a big museum open land area. Ozzy stood and shook his head in confusion. Then he started to walk around the place. After a couple minutes of looking around, he saw in the distance a bunch of X-Borgs fighting what looked like a Red Ranger. Ozzy stood there for a moment watching. Then he bolted towards the fight and jumped into the crowd of X-Borgs as quickly as he could. He kicked one in the head as he landed, and then kicked another, grabbed one by the wrist and flipped it over onto its back, then jumped up and spun around and kicked two of them, and then he ran up to the Ranger. You're a Power Ranger, right?" Ozzy asked the Red Ranger. The Ranger looked similar to the Red Mighty Morphin Power Ranger, with an all-black helmet which had a vertical white line and a horizontal white line on the visor. It resembled the Cornish flag. The Ranger also had the golden shield on his chest, similar to the Green Mighty Morphin Rangers. This also had the Cornish flag on it.
"Yes, who are you?"
the Ranger asked as he swung his sword into an X-Borg. I'm Ozzy, the only Ranger around here apparently," Ozzy grinned.
"I'm the Red Cornish Ranger,"
the Ranger told him. "Well, Red Cornish Ranger, looks like you need some help," Ozzy grinned as he ducked, dodging an attack.
"Sounds good."
The Red Ranger nodded, then he kicked an X-Borg in the stomach. Ozzy looked at his new watch and pressed the Ranger key, and suddenly a picture of the Red Ranger key appeared as a hologram, projecting from the watch. He then pressed the screen and it disappeared, and then in front of him the Red Ranger key materialized, floating in front of him. Albert, you're a mad genius, Ozzy cheered, and then grabbed the key that floated in front of him. He then pulled out his morpher, flipped it open. He then held out the key and flipped it open as well, folding the Ranger in half. He slotted the key in the morpher. Time to be magnificent, Ozzy called out and turned the key. Then in a flash of light, Ozzy morphed into the red Super Megaforce Ranger. Super Megaforce, red, he called out. He summoned his Super Mega Saber and started slashing down the X-Borgs. The red Cornish Ranger jumped up and kicked an X-Borg in the face. As he landed, he swung the sword down, cutting it with his saber. The Super Mega Force Ranger slashed down 2 X-Borgs, then summoned his Super Mega Blaster and shot at the X-Borgs before they could shoot him. Suddenly, a robot drone floated down. Retreat, retreat, the drone called out. The X-Borgs all teleported away, leaving the 2 Red Rangers stood there, both Red Rangers demorphed.
So you are actually a ranger?
The man said. Yep, Ozzy nodded.
My name is Mark.
The man introduced himself. Ozzy, but I said that already. How are you here? I mean, all the Rangers are gone, Ozzy asked him.
I'm not from this universe.
Mark explained. Ozzy's jaw dropped to the floor.
What do you mean by all the rangers are gone?
Mark asked him. The Rangers all died like 50 years ago, dude. After the amarder took over, Ozzy explained, acting like Mark should already know this.
Must admit, this is one of the darker universes.
Mark muttered. Why are you here, Mark? Ozzy asked him.
I'm looking for some other universe traveller.
Mark told him. Oh, so if you're one of the signals, then the person you're looking for must be with Albert, my partner. Don't worry, my friend's fine. Ozzy grinned.
Nephis is not my friend, and very dangerous. Your partner is in trouble.
Mark barked. Oh, okay. So this is like a hunter chasing prey sort of scenario? Ozzy looked at Mark awkwardly.
Nephis had a hand in my team's demise, and the reason why I go from universe to universe, hunting her down.
Mark explained. Ozzy then felt bad for Mark and placed his hand on Mark's shoulder. I haven't been doing this long, but I know it's a ranger's job to protect people. If this Nephis character is dangerous, I have to protect the people in the desert, Ozzy said.
Is that your way of saying you want my help?
Mark asked. Hell yeah, and my partner's already there, so Ozzy sighed.
Do you have a way to get to the desert?
Mark asked Ozzy. Yeah, I do actually, Ozzy grinned. Suddenly, a hologram appeared in the middle of the stone monument that stood next to them. Ozzy and Mark walked up to it, and Mark realised it was Stonehenge. The hologram appeared in the middle of Stonehenge, being projected from one of the huge stones that made the monument. Mark and Ozzy turned around the massive stone monument and walked closer to it. It was a white ranger with black arms, white forearms, and white boots, with a red cross on its white visor on his chest and red bands on his forearms and rims of his boots. The hologram played out in the centre of Stonehenge. It showed the White Ranger fighting X-Borgs with weapons that Ozzy didn't recognise. Then the X-Borg shot down the White Ranger and the White Ranger fell to the ground. The hologram disappeared. Would you like to see the hologram reenactment of the fall of the English Ranger play again? A drone's voice said.
Rewind it.
Mark said bluntly, then the hologram replayed. Ozzy looked up at Mark, which he noticed then that Mark had tearful eyes.
His name was Arthur, and he was my teammate, my friend.
Mark muttered. Wait, you knew this guy? Ozzy said awkwardly. He walked over to the information board and read it. Mark, was you a part of a team called Power Rangers Royal Britannia? Ozzy asked him.
I was, yes.
Mark sighed. Sorry, man. Looks like they all perished in this universe as well, Ozzy said.
It's every goddamn universe!
Mark grunted. Suddenly, Mark morphed without his morpher. The red Cornish Ranger hopped over the chain fence that walked around the Stonehenge and walked up to the hologram that kept replaying the same scene now over and over again. He dropped to his knees next to the holographic image of his fallen ally. The dark mist formed next to Mark, forming into a curved blade sword. Mark picked up the sword and stood up. This can't be normal, Ozzy said to himself. He hopped over the chain fence as well and ran into the middle of Stonehenge and ran up to Mark. Mark, come on, dude, we need to get this Nephis chick. You said she's bad, right? I need to check on Albert, Ozzy piped up.
No, everyone just keeps getting in my way.
Mark growled. The red Cornish Ranger then swung his sword down, slashing for Ozzy, knocking him off his feet. Ozzy yelled out in pain. Dude! Ozzy called out. Suddenly, Jason Lee Scott's ghost appeared.
Albert needs you.
Jason barked. Yeah, kinda busy, man, Ozzy snapped. The ghost looked at the red Cornish Ranger, and a shocked look formed on his face.
That is Mark, right?
Jason asked. Oh, wait, you know him? Ozzy asked back.
I met him a few times. He got his powers from my original power set.
Jason explained. So what's with the sword? Ozzy asked, pointing to the strange sword in Mark's hand.
That's the Sword of Darkness.
Jason barked. The what of who now? Ozzy asked, confused.
It's a sword that increases the evil impulses of those who wield it.
Jason told him. So I need to stop him, right? Ozzy asked.
Yes, and be quick. Albert still needs us.
Jason barked. Ozzy pressed the key icon on his watch and picked his key. It materialized in front of him. He grabbed it, flipped open the Super Megaforce morpher. He flipped open the key and slotted into the morpher. He turned the key in a flash of light. He was morphed into a legendary ranger. Blue Turbo Ranger, the ranger called out. The Blue Turbo Ranger ran at the red Cornish Ranger. He jumped up and double-kicked the ranger in the chest. He landed and was struck by the Sword of Darkness, sparks flying off of him as he hit the floor. The Blue Ranger jumped to his feet and summoned his turbo hand blasters and shot at the red Cornish Ranger. He used the Sword of Darkness to defend himself from some of the shots. The Blue Ranger ran at the red Cornish Ranger while shooting him. He then jumped up and over the red Cornish Ranger. As he landed, he spun around and kicked the red Cornish Ranger in the back, making him stumble forward. He then aimed both his blasters and pulled the trigger, striking him in the back. He then ran at the red Cornish Ranger, but he managed to stable himself. He swung the sword, cutting down the Blue Turbo Ranger. The Blue Ranger dropped to the floor, and the red Cornish Ranger held his sword up, the blade pointing down, the tip aiming for the Blue Turbo Ranger.
Mark, stop. You don't want to do this. Ozzy is just trying to help.
Jason called out. He appeared stood in front of the red Cornish Ranger.
Jason, is that you?
The red Cornish Ranger asked, looking around.
Yes, Mark. It's me. I am Ozzy and Albert's guide to all things to do with Power Rangers. This world needs Ozzy, and you know I'm right when I say Albert is in trouble.
Jason called out.
I need to stop Nephis. I gotta help your friend.
The red Cornish Ranger barked.
Then put the sword down,
Jason told him. The red Cornish Ranger started screaming. He dropped the Sword of Darkness. The black energy left the red Cornish Ranger's body. The sword dematerialized. He demorphed, and Mark dropped to one knee, now out of breath. The Blue Turbo Ranger stood and also demorphed. He can't see you. Can he? Ozzy asked.
No, but he can hear me. I didn't even know if that would work.
Jason replied. Luckily it did. How'd you know about the sword? Ozzy asked him.
The Mark of this universe had the same issue.
Jason told him. Ozzy walked up to Mark and held out his hand. Mark took it and Ozzy pulled Mark up to his feet.
I'm sorry.
Mark said. Hey man, we all slip up sometimes, and this monument scene thingy is a little screwed up, to say the least, Ozzy said, looking around at the huge stones that surrounded them.
Albert needs us. Some Blue Ranger girl has him by the ropes.
Jason blurted.
Her name is Nephis, and she is a hunter who has a mission. My job is to stop her.
Mark explained, looking around. He's a ghost, by the way. He's soul tied to Albert, Ozzy explained.
So every ranger is truly gone?
Mark asked.
Ozzy was chosen by the Morphing Masters to reclaim Earth, bit by bit.
Jason said with a slight grin.
Then we better save your partner.
Mark said.
Did you get the key?
Jason asked Ozzy. Nah, I think it was Mark who's tripping the sensors, Ozzy sighed. Jason looked around and stopped. He walked up to one of the stone slabs and pointed at the small device planted on the stone, the projector.
What about this?
Jason asked, pointing at it. Ozzy then ran up the stone slab, running up the stone itself, and grabbed the small device. He kicked off the stone slab, landing next to Mark. He examined the device better now it was in his hands. He turned it over, and inside was a ranger key attached to a bunch of wires. They must have made a hologram by tapping into the memory core that's in every key. Damn, that's awkward, Ozzy blurted.
What does this mean?
Mark asked, confused. Two things. One, they use your friend's ranger keys for entertainment purposes, which is stupid and royally messed up. And second, I now have your friend's ranger powers, so we can stop this Nephis chick. Ozzy grinned. He grabbed the ranger key and pulled it out of the device. With a few sparks of electricity, the device lights turned off, and the device went dead. Ozzy tossed it away and put the key in his pocket.
Sounds good.
Mark nodded.
I'll go let Albert know,
Jason said. Ozzy nodded and Jason disappeared. Ozzy pressed his watch and the portal opened. Hey, you ready to go? Ozzy asked.
Let's do this.
Mark grinned. Then both of them ran through the portal and entered the inside of a pyramid. Albert was on his back holding the forest spear, trying to push the Royal Blue Ranger, who was on top of him holding an interesting looking dagger, trying to stab him with it. Took you long enough, Albert grunted. Mark and Ozzy dropped into their fighting stances.
If you enjoyed this episode, then why not check out the rest of Power Rangers Magnificent Megaforce on Tiger Tales, produced by Ty Tiger, one of the three Ranger Bros.